All right, everybody, welcome back. We are taking another deep dive today, and this time we're going to be looking at some really common business operations terms.
Okay.
We're going to define them, and we're going to talk about how they impact you.
Sounds good.
So these are, terms like nearshoring, outsourcing, supply chain, logistics, manufacturing, really interesting stuff that impacts your everyday life.
Yeah, for sure.
So these are based on, definitions from a reliable source. We're going to link that in the show notes.
Okay.
But let's just jump right in. I think the first one that's really interesting is nearshoring.
Okay.
So basically, a company will move some of its operations to a nearby country.
Right.
Why would they do that?
Well, I think a lot of people think that, companies just want to find the cheapest labor wherever that is.
Right.
But, over the last couple of years, especially, we've seen a lot of disruption in global trade.
Totally.
And so nearshoring can actually make a company more resilient.
Okay.
Because if you think about, the U.S.-China trade war or...
COVID and all those sorts of things, a company might think, well, if we nearshore some of our operations, it might actually help us to better serve our customer base.
Right.
And it might be less risky in terms of our supply chain.
That makes a lot of sense. Maybe a company will move from, the United States to Mexico or Canada, something like that.
Exactly.
Have you seen a lot of this going on?
I think it's definitely a trend that we need to keep an eye on.
Okay, cool.
What do you think about outsourcing?
Outsourcing, yeah. So this is where a company will give a specific task to a third party,
Right.
which could be in another country.
Yeah. And this is different than nearshoring
Okay,
because it's not about geography.
got it.
It's really about the task.
Okay.
So if you think about, customer service calls,
Yeah.
that might be handled overseas.
Yeah.
Or, IT support that's being handled in India where there's a lot of really great computer programmers.
Right, or even,
So-
I was thinking like a freelance graphic designer or something.
Like that's a form of outsourcing as well.
Totally, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So we're probably benefiting from a ton of outsourced services
Yeah.
all the time without even knowing it.
For sure.
Okay. And this kind of leads into the next one, which is the supply chain.
Okay.
So the supply chain is really interesting because it's the entire system
Yeah, it's a big one.
from the, raw materials to the consumer.
It's like a big web
Yeah.
that connects all of the different steps.
Yeah. So like think about your coffee in the morning.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's grown somewhere. The beans are harvested,
Roasted.
packaged, shipped, roasted. Like all of that is part of the supply chain.
And there could be disruptions at any point.
Exactly. Like a natural disaster,
A pandemic.
a ship stuck in a canal.
Exactly.
All sorts of things can go wrong.
Which is why we need logistics.
Logistics. Okay, so what's logistics?
So logistics is really how you manage the flow of goods through that supply chain.
Okay.
So that's, warehousing,
Yeah.
that's shipping routes, that's even the delivery to your front door.
Wow. So if logistics breaks down, then
The world stops.
pretty much.
Our shelves are empty.
Yeah.
Our online orders are late.
It's a very, very important part.
Super important.
All right, last one, manufacturing.
Okay.
So this is where we take those raw materials
Mm-hmm.
and we transform them into finished goods.
Right. And this is something that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
We've gone from, handcrafted goods
Right.
to mass production
Yeah.
to now where we're looking at things like automation,
3D printing.
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about the future of jobs.
Yeah, for sure. Are robots going to take all of our jobs?
It's a good question. A lot of debate about that.
I think we'll always have jobs,
Okay.
but they might be different jobs.
Right.
And, there are a lot of new opportunities that are emerging
Yeah.
with all these new technologies.
Yeah, like robotics engineers and AI programmers. So there you have it. Nearshoring, outsourcing, supply chain logistics manufacturing.
Wow, that was a lot.
5 very important terms that impact our everyday life.
Yeah, and even if you're not working in business, I think it's important to understand these terms
Yeah.
because they're all around us.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you like a window into how the world works.
Totally.
Yeah, you start to think about the products that you buy, the services that you use, the prices that you pay.
It all makes sense.
Yeah, it really is all connected.
Yeah.
All right, well, on that note, that is our deep dive into some business operations terms. Hopefully you learned something new, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.